Hi, my name's Allie Moore, and I run communications at Chapul, which is a little tricky given the breadth of things that this company does. A little background. Chapul started as a protein bar company. You might have seen Pat, our CEO, on Shark Tank in 2014 when he got Mark Cuban to invest in North America's first cricket-powered protein bar. It was all part of a plot to build an insect industry. And that's where our stories became intertwined and a little parallel. Uh, Rewinding back to that time, I was growing a brand called Buggable, also focused on getting people to eat bugs in silly and weird ways to raise awareness about this insect industry that was burgeoning and growing at the time. Over the course of a decade at this point, the insect industry has become a reality. In the US, we had to have regulations passed, we had to form a trade organization. And today, we have things like the CEIF, which is a National Science Foundation backed research center, collaboratively between insect companies, large agricultural companies, and universities to prioritize and share in the benefits of research in the field. Our CEO is the chair of the board of that foundation, and up to other epic stuff too. But back to Chapul. So Chapul Farms is an evolution more than a pivot of Chapul. Chapul started to really get conversations going, get some investor attention, and to build the beginning of a supply chain for insects in North America. Today, we have a team that is focused on something a little bigger than selling cricket protein powder. We now have a team that offers waste solutions, organic waste solutions to existing agricultural companies. So think anyone from a single farm to a winery to a brewery to a bioethanol plant. In the US, we have scaled so many parts of the agriculture industry, but in a line, meaning we have a lot of extraction from soils. We are growing more on fewer acres, and the crop nutrition is suffering. We have to do things like use synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. We have been depleting the soils. We now have a lot of waste, organics waste in particular, in landfills. But when you think about it, nature does not have waste. They have technologies kind of to upcycle and repurpose this biomass material. And instead of waste, you can just think about products in different stages of their life cycle. So if a leaf falls or a coconut falls off a tree in nature, insects and fungi will get to work as the natural technology that turns this low value biomass into high value biomass. The high value biomass in this case is lipids and proteins, and that would be the insect body. And then incredible inoculated soil, a fancy word of saying frass, or the insect poo and exoskeletons along with some residues. And that's what forests are built on. Frass is super soil. So back to Chapul Farms. Our business is solving some of the biggest challenges the world faced with a very little thing called a bug. We use black soldier fly larvae, which are maggots, and also pretty incredible at the task that they were evolved millions of years to do. They are primarily great at addressing wet organics waste. And this is a huge problem for a lot of people in the food and feed industries. It is heavy and wet and hard to transport and dry, very expensive to deal with. The existing solutions out there, even more on the circular side, like composting, take a while. There's still greenhouse gas emissions. So what to do? Well, close the loop. And that in the most pure common sense form is, let's look at the circle of food and feed. Things in nature also happen in cycles. If you haven't noticed, we have a life cycle, we have water cycles and the carbon cycle. So what we're doing is we're closing the loop on the food cycle by inserting the missing technology that has been forgotten or left behind as we progress to other parts of agriculture, insects. And to do this at scale, we decided to solve very expensive problems for very big companies, but it also works small scale too. It also works just in nature on its own. But what we've done is create a business model that can insert insects into the existing agriculture system very effectively. How we do this is we at Chapul Farms have a team of top tier bug biologists. We've partnered with Nexus Program Management Group. And they've managed billions of dollars in climate engineering projects and are the track record and street cred engineers, builders extraordinaire. Together, our teams can approach, let's say a brewery. The brewery is making beer, processing all these grains, and creating a lot of waste. Sometimes they can take that waste, organics waste, the spent grains or wet distillers grains. There are markets for this as livestock feed or other options, but those markets are becoming saturated and increasingly harder to find. And there is a runaway waste problem for a very tricky wet sludge. So enter Chapul Farms. We will speak to the waste stream owner, learn a little bit more about their challenges, take some of the organics waste as a sample, bring it to our innovation center lab in Oregon, have our tray-based design. We have a tray where in 7 days, we will take eggs to larvae that consume the entirety, 100% of the input, the organics waste, and turn it into larvae and larva poo. So we'll return to that. But after a little bit of testing and optimizing, we are ready to enter into the scale up of a project. So that starts with a feasibility analysis. It goes into optimization, and at the end emerges with a fully designed and engineered full-scale custom insect facility. So these insect facilities are one of the products that Chapul Farms sells, you could say. We offer services that lead up to the project, and then we also distribute the items that the insect facilities produce. Chapul Farms makes money in a few different ways. So we have a few different customers. We sell services that lead up to a full project. We do the testing of organics waste and optimization of it so we can tinker with it to make it produce consistent quality end products, insects or frass. We can optimize it for either of the markets. Let's say you want to sell the insect larva into an animal feed market, dog food, chicken food, fish food. You might want to optimize the larva to have the highest protein content possible. So that's an example of what our team will do in the lab. Next, on the solving organics waste side, we decarbonize organics waste by taking a technology that works, like it was evolved over millions of years to be great at this job, insects, and equipment that works from the farming industry. So our facilities are using equipment that has been used historically with a long operational track record of it works success. So we take these technologies that work, and as system integrators, we integrate them into a custom solution for our client. So in this example, the brewery that is producing wet distillers grains as a byproduct of beer or whiskey production, we will co-locate an insect farm next to where the waste stream is created, eliminating the cost of transportation already. And then we'll make a closed loop circular ecosystem right there on site. Instead of having waste, we now have spent grains, which are the input into the insect facility. The insects, in a matter of 7 days, bioconvert, turn waste stream into their body and their poop. 100% of inputs. So the input is spent grains. The output is 2 valuable products that can be sold into the animal feed markets and the soil health markets. And also, that's a closed loop. There's a risk of losing the pitch with too many aces, but I'll speak a little bit more to like some of the other buckets that we check. We can say that we enhance bioregional food security. So closing the loop means making sure that within this little ecosystem, we have access to high quality animal feed and soil health products instead of needing to import it from another state or another country. We decarbonize the organics waste stream, meaning it goes from a expensive in terms of money and ESG, which is a tricky emerging metric system I won't dive too much more into, but we take a challenge and we turn it into an opportunity. So waste to value. Fun fact, soil, if healthy and full of microbes and bacteria, healthy soil technically captures more carbon than the atmosphere and all other biomass combined. So yeah, soil captures more carbon than trees and whales and other things that are being developed. And wouldn't it be nice if we just fixed soil instead of needing to invent a bunch of other stuff to try to solve this climate crisis? We do that too. Insect frass is critical in that, can actually help restore soils that have been totally decimated by years of overuse, tillage, or synthetics. But I won't go further into that. We decarbonize the animal feed ingredient chain by using insects instead of corn or soy. You have one, better animal health outcomes, which we can go back to the millions of years of evolution thing again. Turns out research shows if you feed chickens and fish insects, what they were evolved to eat, they have better health outcomes. They have stronger eggs, they have improved moods, and with the fish, higher fecal integrity, which is very important, just kind of fun to say. So feeding insects to animals instead of highly processed alternatives is great for their health, gives us more to eat, and is also lower impact than other less circular outcomes. At the end of the day, we're taking something that would be waste and would turn into emissions of sitting in a landfill, and is expensive to manage for this hypothetical brewery or our project clients. We turn costly waste into valuable, bountiful, can sell into the fastest growing markets products, animal feed ingredients, and soil health products. Back to Chapul Farms. Yeah, that's a circular business model. We got a lot going on there, but the important thing is that we've built a very strong foundation to execute on this plan. My team has been at this for 12 plus years, very, very focused on the outcome of unleashing the ecosystem benefits of insects. When you look at it, that's maybe the single most important thing we can do to make a difference, to build a food secure future, to reverse, not just mitigate, but reverse some of the effects of industrial agriculture, and can begin to create systems that are resilient, adaptable, regenerative, and restore biodiversity to the land, soils, our gut microbes, and our diets. And one of the best parts about this is, while the explanation you just heard might be a little complex, it is kind of simple when you think about it. We're just closing the loop with nature's own design. We're using these elegant biological technologies that are beyond the capabilities of humans to design right now. And we are integrating them into modern business in a way that makes sense and is a win-win-win for everyone involved. We take waste and turn it into value. We turn a cost and turn it into a profit. And in these little insect facilities that we design, build, own, operate for customers, these will themselves divert many GHGs each year. We're working with academics in the environmental metrics fields to better quantify the impact of them. But I think the time for virtue signaling is over, and you can buy all the Teslas you want, but it's not going to save the world. Something that will save the world is building regenerative circular infrastructure that's quite foundational for the future of feeding the population. And I believe that's an investment into Chapul Farms and the project pipeline. So one facility standard, we are set to break ground on our first project facility. So that's in North Dakota, and we're building an insect farm next to a bioethanol waste stream. And that will be shovel ready in 2023. Our pipeline of these $60 million facilities totals over $1 billion. And for funds watching this, hit us up. We want you to partner with us to help us most effectively deploy this meaningful high impact capital across our project pipeline and beyond. And for those of you that are interested in investing in the Reg D, and you hear $60 million for a facility, what? Fear not. That's for the project co that the parent co, Chapul Farms, owns. Chapul Farms itself, very capital efficient. We have done all of this with very little. We raised a seed round last year, around $2 million, led by Nexus PMG with investors like Pine Snacks, Daniel Lebetsky, and Mark Cuban, and built our team, built our innovation center in Oregon, began selling products like this, the larva and the frass, began many tests to validate some of the health benefits that we're claiming about feeding insects to fish and whatnot, and have nurtured our pipeline of potential project clients to get to where we are today. Today, we're laser focused on the most progressed project, like I mentioned, in North Dakota. And we are right before a massive valuation inflection point because currently we are first of its kind phase. We got to build the first custom insect facility, and then the economics change dramatically. The opportunity for anyone watching this is to invest not into the insect farms that are our project co's, but the parent company itself, Chapul LLC, the company that I work at, the company that has been laying the groundwork for closing the loop on food and feed production for years. The company that will own pieces, it'll differ based on the project, but will own a network of custom insect facilities over the years, but currently has an innovation center to offer these services, the testing, the optimization, and has some distribution channels for insect-based products, and is building the future that I want to live in. That is today's attempt at explaining Chapul Farms' business model.